Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are rolling along here. We've got Friday night NBA playoff props for you guys as we move on in these playoffs. A couple games on the slate for you on Friday after just one game on Thursday night. Don't quite know how we did in Thursday night's player props yet, as we are getting ahead of these player props for Friday with you guys by recording this on Thursday. So have yet to see what happens in that Hawks and Celtics game. We'll get back to you on that. Do want to make sure to like and subscribe to that page. We've got a best bets video up for you about Friday night as well. We'll continue to be bringing you guys those all throughout the postseason, so continue to follow along and head to thelines.com. You can check out all of the great written content we have up there as we throw all the picks up on the site these days. And we have the odds finder tool on there that you can use to make sure you're getting the best odds available to you from all of these books that are giving you guys bets in the NBA this postseason. Nate, let's jump right into your first NBA play a prop as we are continuing the theme of going under here in the Lakers and Grizzlies game.
Yeah, it's a physical series. So I'm going under with Jaren Jackson Jr. Under 18.5 points is minus 125 because he's gone under in 4 straight games on this total here. You can get better odds if you add 8 rebounds, go under 26.5 points rebounds. That seems a little risky because this game is probably going to be so low scoring and there's going to be so many rebounding opportunities. But Jackson on the road against Anthony Davis, who's playing out of his mind defensively, it seems like trouble. I mean, his last 4, averaging 16 a game on 38% and 27% from deep, which is actually what he shoots on the road in the playoffs in his career. 27% from deep versus 40% at home. You know, usage rate 3 percentage points lower, averages 13 points versus 18.5 at home in his playoff career. Doesn't really surprise me to see these splits. They are pretty stark, though, in 11 games at each location because Triple J is, you know, one of those guys you think of when the Memphis grindhouse is going crazy. Like, he's hitting threes, he's making plays, he's dunking, and otherwise, if the offense isn't firing on all cylinders, it's like, where is he? Oh, he's on the bench in foul trouble. I mean, which is a big key here as you go up against AD. He has a 13% foul rate on paint touches. He has a 10% turnover rate, averaging 6.8 points per game on paint touches in this series, and under a free throw attempt per game on those. So that to me indicates like he's got to be hitting from 3 to basically to get 20 points in this one, and he's not. You know, he's only shooting 37% on drives, so not even paint touches, but like trying to create his own shot. And Memphis is probably not going to go to him that often if his matchup is AD. I mean, the way Desmond Bane has been lighting it up with like 35 points per game, I got to think that's the Lakers' priority is Bane and Morant. I mean, or trying to shut down one of those guys, but Memphis is going to be able to play through the other and not really try to force feed Triple J.
Yeah, I can see that logic in terms of not necessarily force feeding the ball. He's not necessarily a focal point of their offense, and he's become less effective as AD has become more impactful. So continuing to fade him in this game would just really continue the game theory that we've been talking about, that we expect AD to continue to get boards, dominate, etc. I can understand why you'd want to go under the points and rebounds. Like you said, if there are a decent amount of misses in this game, then maybe that is a little bit, something that you don't want to go under with. But I'm actually not that afraid to tack it on either. I think the pace of the game will limit the amount of shots that go up anyway, which is not going to be close to the 102.5 they played during the regular season, but rather close back at the 97 or even lower that they've been playing at the Lakers in this series especially. So continuing on with that theory there, let me go under on a LeBron prop here, and the curmudgeonly episode of the props here. 26.5 points for him. If you go under that, it's minus 105 on DraftKings. 1 unit there. Both talked about this game going under for a number of reasons. The pace that we just mentioned. He's only hit this prop once, and you started calling out LeBron under on points when it was up to like 30 the other day, and it was just too high. It was like 29.5, and it was too high. He hasn't hit 30, but I think you said something like once in his last, like the last time he did it was in the finals of the bubble, where in the playoffs when he hit 30 points. So that's a long time ago. It's 2023 now, and only once in this series has he gone over this prop of 27 points when he hit 28 the other day, and then expended a ton of energy going for 20 boards in their win in game 4. And then in game 5, obviously we saw him struggle struggle a ton with his stamina and everything else, tired legs. I talked about his really bad percentage from three in the best bets video, and I'll mention it again in his last 3 games as he's gotten more and more tired, and this pace of this whole series has slowed down more and more. 10% from three on 6.5 attempts per game. That's because he's made 2 of 22 attempts over his last 3 from deep. I was trying to tell them to just stay in Los Angeles. I don't know why he felt the need to travel. Like, not only you have to travel there, you got to travel back to Los Angeles. And Memphis ain't the West. I'm still wondering why they're in the Western Conference, because Memphis is in Tennessee. That's very east. So it's very far from Los Angeles. Not a fun flight. I expect him to not really have the legs to continue that into this game. 98 pace for the series, but 97, even slower in the 2 games at LA, which probably could be seen at about 96 at this point with all the games that they've played in the last 4 days. I also just, we've talked about it a little bit, but I'll just bring it up again. There's an increase of weapons around him, not only just in terms of people being able to score, but Dennis Schroeder, D'Angelo Russell, and Austin Reeves can all get their own buckets without the need for someone to set them up like LeBron James teammates of old. These are guys that can also do it without necessarily needing the flow of the offense to like help them get open. So continue to like AD. If he's going to get 14 boards, I got to expect another 4 to 6 of them are going to be on the offensive end. He had 7 second chance points last game alone. He had 22 points in the paint alone, and they're going to continue to run through him, which not only gives him opportunities to score and lessens LeBron's, but it also means this game's going a bit slower if you're throwing it down low to the big man instead of jacking up threes and keeping the pace high. So all that stuff leads to LeBron just once again not getting 27 points, which once again he's only done once in this series.
Yeah, no problem with that at all. I mean, his rebounding props are really high, and that's just indicates that the books agree with this, is that there's going to be a lot of missed shots and a lot of rebounding opportunities. So if you want to look at parlays involving the rebounds for LeBron and AD, because they're going to have to be tough down there, that's great, but I would not trust either of them to go over their prop. Scoring, I mean, maybe AD, but I just can't trust how healthy he'll be, which is why, that's always a concern. But let's look at some Warriors. I think it's going to be Draymond's game 6 to a degree. I mean, he's going to have his fingerprints on it. I'm not saying he's going to control the game, but I think he get 14 rebounds and assists, which is actually down 1 from where it was earlier in the series or in the first game back from suspension. And in these 2 since suspension, he's been doing his typical thing: 7 rebounds, 7 assists. He also has 3 steals in those 2. Scoring a ton more as he comes off the bench here. 16.5 points per game. I'm not going to chase that, though. I'm not going to fall into that trap. I don't think he's going to impact this game by scoring unless it just so happens to fall that way. I think he's going to do what he does.
Nate, are you trying to say that you're trying to say you don't think Draymond Green's going to hit another like 3 3-pointers and bucket them like that?
Absolutely not. I don't think he's even going to take them. I think he's going to impact this game with rebounding and assists, like he averages his last 8 against Sacramento: 8 boards, 7.5 assists, like he averages at home. Like I said, 77 home playoff games for this guy. 9.3 rebounds, 6.3 assists. So getting you over that pretty consistently. I will say maybe a quarter unit on 2 steals again, because he did come out with renewed defensive effort after the suspension, and he's playing against the second unit at times now. More opportunities to get some steals, and that's plus 175 at DK for 2 steals. But I mean, really what I like here is just the solid bet of 14 rebounds and assists in a closeout game at home.
If you like it like that, and if you think he can get 7 of each, I think plus 300 for him to get a double-double. Quarter unit, 0.2 units, just a little tad bit on him to get a double-double. Now you have the 9.5 points for him is plus 100. Like you said, not really trying to chase it, but give me 3 categories that he could get, double-digit stats in, and for an opportunity to win plus 300. Just needs to get 2 of them. It could be any 3 of them, to be honest. I mean, I think the point's not necessarily a lock, but if he's sort of he has been taking the shots within the flow of the offense, which you kind of have to do in Steve Kerr's offense, which is all about the ball being full of energy, and you have to pass it to find the best guy. It's super woo-woo, but like at any rate, it's the point is, if you don't shoot within the flow of the offense, you're actually a detriment to the offense. And if he's going to pull it, it's another opportunity for him to get points. And like I said, just a little bit, because I do agree that he's going to be impacting this game in some way. So whatever stat you think that's going to be, rebounds and assists, obviously the most likely, still an opportunity for him to get 10 either points, rebounds, or assists. So All right, game 6, Klay. Time to close things out with talking about my guy here, which is just, I said it before we were talking yesterday, and I was like, I'm just going game 6, Klay, man. I'm going to blindly talk about it here. And it still adds up. Like, it's something, it's not like it's blindly. It's also at this point, I have the benefit of having watched game 5 and knowing that Klay had a really solid game shooting and looks like himself shooting the ball right now with the confidence that he has. So I'm going to talk about him specifically in one of two ways. I do like him to get the points. I think it's a pretty good bet for him to get 24 points in this game, or 23, depending on where you find it and how you want that juice. But I also like the idea of him getting 6 made threes, putting a little bit on that. And really right now it's only plus 160 for him to just hit 6 threes. It's plus it's plus 250 for him to hit 275 for him to hit 6 threes and them to win the game as a player performance double on FanDuel. I know I tripped through that, but the end result here is take him to hit the 6 threes in the win, or take the points, because I think he gets that no matter what. He was taking what the defense gave him a bit more in game 5 and sort of stepping in and hitting a few more 2s, which is what I was asking for him to do. If you'll remember a few nights ago when we were talking about Klay and I said he's forcing it, that's why I was getting ahead of a game where game 4 Klay, where he hit he did get over his points finally, and that's what I expect him to do in this one once again. In game 6 for Klay, since they started winning championships, 28 points per game in 6 games, 6.5 made threes in 39 minutes per game. That's because he's got a bunch of 3-point games where he's hit 6 of them, 7 of them, 9 of them, 11 of them, and playing well. The only 2 games he didn't really play, one he didn't play at all against Toronto after he got hurt in game 6 and had to leave. So yeah, I mean, for Klay in this one, I'm continuing to feel good about the streak that he's been on since game 4, when he scored 26 points. He had 4 threes. He played really bad in the second half. I think he had like 18 points in the first half and went really cold in the second half and made some really dumb turnovers that he's been doing actually all series here. And then in game 5, he continued that, and he probably would have had closer to 30 points, probably would have had at least 6 or 7 threes, as opposed to the 5 that he did make. But he only played 32 minutes because of the foul trouble that we talked about in that best bets video, where he found his stroke. And then as he started hitting, he got 3 personal fouls in the first half. He had 5 with just 4 minutes into the fourth quarter, had to sit a bunch. And that really took away from his ability to keep his usage rate, or at least his minutes up enough with a high usage rate to get over those points. He still got over, like I said, in the time he was out there. So I think he's locked in, and this is his moment to sort of be the step on their throat guy.
Yeah, the points are low. I mean, that's definitely the safest bet because he is scoring inside and out to a degree, and we've been really targeting Klay at home for a while. He's been between 21 and 23 points since like the midpoint of the season. We're like, I don't know if the books are really recognizing that Klay is the Klay of old, and he's benefiting from the fact that Steph is an even better playmaker at this point in their careers. And now, I see this more as a Klay game than a Steph game. I don't know if he's going to outscore him, but it is like plus 300 for Klay to be the leading scorer in the game. If you do think he's going to totally blow up, maybe that's a way to get some juice along with the double, like you said. I mean, I think the Warriors are winning this game, so 6 threes and a win at nearly plus 300 is also intriguing.
Totally. Yeah, I'm here for any way that you guys want to start having some fun with game 6 Klay and talking about some SGPs and throwing his stuff in there with the Dubs to win. Like, have fun with it. Be safe. I'm not saying start throwing whole units on things, but like, I know I'll be like finding a couple fun ways to get this juice up for Klay to have a big game. And also just really the main portion of my bankroll on this game that I'm allotting is going to be on the points, because I just want to make sure I get that in there and then find a couple ways to just get ahead of that and really get extra fun when Klay starts going off in this game, if they even get close to allowing. But at any rate, that's all the time that we have for you for this player props video. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Also check out the best bets we have overall for these 2 games on Friday night. We're going to continue following along as well with these NBA playoffs. So until we see you next, happy betting.